Not Louis, dog. Not Louis. Not Louis. Let's get into it right after this.
Hard, play hard, grind hard, stay hard, no we stay out, make your way out, but I just can't stop, won't stop hustling, but I just
Snowfall season 4, episode 8, Betrayal. Oh my god, it's a lot to unpack in this episode. Oh my god. It's a lot, man. Let's talk about Louis, man. I knew something was gonna happen with Louis because in the trailers they kept showing her in the hospital, and I was like, oh, something happened to her. I thought maybe she Granny got pregnant and was having a miscarriage or a baby or something. I didn't think they would actually shoot Louis, man. Louis is like, I ain't gonna say she the heart and soul of the show, but she like the heart and soul, man. She hold it down, man. She gangster, man. Aside from Khadijah, she the most gangster one out of them. But I hope she be all right, man. From the looks of it, she gonna pull through. But Jerome was so torn by this, man. Rightfully so, though. That's his baby, man. That's all he got. We'll see how the dynamic changes now. Maybe Louis will want to slow down because it seemed like Jerome is going full speed ahead. And I had somebody on Twitter say that the acting in Power was better than the acting in Snowfall. And if I could physically see that person, I probably would have smacked him. But he was like, oh, because of the scene when Louis got shot, the emotions, Power would have been better, the acting or the supporting characters. He was like, I think Franklin's a good actor, but it's supporting characters. I'm like, are you fucking serious? Like, don't get me wrong, I like Power, but Power is over the top with everything. That was the honest reaction. Somebody gets shot, they're gonna be in shock. They're gonna be like, yo, what the fuck? You don't. Anyway, let's get into the show. So the episode starts off with Reed. He's out in fucking bumfuck who knows where. No, but I think he's in Nicaragua. Checking up on what's going on out there. He winds up getting knocked out. The scene switches. It goes to the barbershop where it's Man Boy Scully and Khadijah talking, and she's talking that gangster shit, man. I'm telling you, Khadijah is my favorite character, man. She is the best when it comes to that get back. She ain't playing no games, man. Drew, Man Boy wants to be all strategic about everything. Scully kind of took a reserve role, which I really don't like because the way they set up Scully, he was like, about that shit. Especially with his daughter dying, he seems to be a little more. He seems a little too relaxed about the whole situation to me. But Drew's like, yo, I got a plan. I gotta get the plug, and then I'm gonna kill him. Blah blah blah. And Khadijah like, man, I ain't trying to hear none of that. Like, I want to get payback for my daughter. That's all she got on her mind. Like Lil Melly say, I got murder on my mind. So yeah, he's trying to take the spot. So he switched over to Jerome, Louis, and Leon and Franklin. And it's good to see the original team hold up as one. And dude, there's some animosity going on. The paper came out and Jerome's like, yo, how does this look for us? Like, what we supposed to do? And then Franklin has this emotional moment. And this is where this is where the character of Franklin, dude, when this actor does such a good job. First of all, this actor is a Brit. He's British. So he's pulling off an American accent and he's making it believable. But it's these scenes right here, these emotional scenes where he comes into full Franklin Saint. He embodies that character. And he says, everybody's wondering about me. And I'm going to just take the fucking bullet like I always do. When it came to Kevin, when it came to this, when it came to that, I stood on the front of it. He said, and that's what I'm going to do here. Now, if anybody got anything constructive to say about how to get out of this, say it. If not, shut the fuck up. I'm like, come on, man. Oh, come on, man. He trying to get a Oscar nod or something, man. That was good. That was some good acting right there, boy. I'm a sucker for that type of shit right there. I had to rewind that a couple of times, like, oh, look at him. That was some good ass acting, boy. So he flipped out. The reporter is yo, this lady is so fucking. they cut over to the reporter. She's kind of basking in the glory of it. She got her little fucking Jimmy Olsen wannabe catering to her, bringing her wine, and she's feeling herself a little bit. The story broke. It got people talking. Manboy and Skelly are talking about it. Everybody's talking about this story, and they know everybody in the hood know who it is, who they talking about. So she's kind of basking in the glory. It's a bunch of major papers, newspaper editorials calling her. Everybody's trying to get this story. This story is like hot news. So she got, New York Times, Washington Post. Everybody's trying to call her. She's kind of just fielding everybody's calls. We find out a big reveal in this that sneaky ass Tanase, or whatever the fuck her name is, was working for man. Everybody knew something was going on with her. We all knew. Everybody knew had a suspicion that something was going on with her, and it finally gets revealed that she is working for Manboy, aka Drew, to find out information about Franklin State, more specifically his plug. And I guess he got some kind of line to her brother. I think he was a drug kingpin. He might be in jail, so I think he threatened to either have him killed in jail or something. And he's paying her, so that snaky little. I knew it. Everybody knew it. Finally got revealed today. We cut back to Teddy. He's tied up by some. I don't want to mispronounce her. I believe she's Asian, maybe Philippine. I'm not sure, but he's tied up. She winds up cutting him loose, and pretty much the whole premise of that was he wanted to figure out what was going on over there. And I guess the situation is more dire than he had thought. So he winds up giving the lady some money and told her he had to leave. And she was kind of like, you're leaving us here to get slaughtered. Like, you're just going to leave. You keep leaving for months at a time, not checking up on us. And Reed like, man, hey, I got to do what I got to do. And that's that. Franklin meets up with Irie. This was another gangster scene. This was another scene. Hold on, I gotta turn my ambiance back on. I don't know why these keep going on. Alright, so he meets up with Eileen. I didn't know how this was gonna go. He called her, and I thought he was gonna have her knocked off. He didn't have her knocked off. I think it just would have been a little too obvious. But he winds up meeting with her in a public place, and he controlled this whole interview. Like, he controlled the whole situation, which I liked. He was like telling her pretty much, you need to chill the fuck out, because you in over your head. And she kind of stood her ground a little bit, but at the same time she was kind of on the fence. And he brought up the fact that he knew her husband and her daughter, and that's when she was like, yo, don't fucking bring them into it. And I'm like, well, you already brought him into it. You thought about this last episode when your husband told you what you were doing. So you gotta take responsibility for everything you're doing. It's no reason to be doing, like, why are you doing this? And like he says, you want to be a martyr. All right, if you accept the fact that you're gonna be a martyr, then that's cool. You know what I mean? But if that's not what you want, you need to fall back. Elton, he tries to convince Sissy to leave. It seemed like she was falling for it. She didn't go for it though, and he stands by his actions. You know what I mean? And if you looking at it from his point of view, I don't think what he did was necessarily wrong. I think the way he went about it was wrong. Like, he should have spoke to his family first before he decides to go out to a reporter and whatnot. If they make the conscious decision to do that as a group effort, then that's one thing. But if not, you gotta follow. It's not your place, dude. Franklin's a grown man. If you don't want to be involved in it, you're free to move away yourself. But don't throw your son under the bus, man, and potentially harm him or your family or whoever else. I just don't like that part about it, man. And it seemed like Altown would know better than that. Coming from the Black Panthers, whatever. But Jerome and Louie get into it about Fatback's funeral. She's telling Jerome not to go because they got targets and they have money on their head. He saying, yo, I gotta stand strong with the niggas from the projects. If I don't, it's gonna make us look weak. It's the least we could do. We owe it to him. And she's like, nah, I ain't fucking with it. And I don't blame her too. I probably don't want to win either. Like, hell, like what? But I understand the other side of it too. You know what I mean? You can't show no weakness. You can't look weak or none of that. So I understand it. Listen, when it got hot in the kitchen, Paul Davis got the hell out the kitchen, man. He had his funky come back, get that money to Sissy quick, fast, in a hurry. Right? She was on her way to meet him. Sorry, I politely declined. I'm like, hey, it's business though, you know? Like he said, and he told him ahead of time what would happen if the situation was to blow up. So I wasn't mad at that, you know. That's the cost of doing business. The papers decided to pull the story. On the second part of the story, they decided to pull out because the CIA is now putting pressure on her. They show up to the news station, and she looking sick in her face, like, man. Louis gets shot at the funeral. This is the scene after this. They're all at the funeral. As soon as they're walking up, Louis walking up. Leon tells Jerome, as Jerome's walking to her, you see Khadijah, Black Diamond, and I keep forgetting the other girl's name. Sitting in the car, and they're like, yo, what you waiting on? And I'm like, yo, Khadijah's so gangster, dude. Khadijah, where you at, man? I need me a Khadijah in my life. She gangster though, but for real, she about that shit, man. She not playing no games, dude. So she pull up, pow, shoot. She shot one girl dead. They ain't give two fucks about her, whoever she was. And then the other girl was Louis, man, and you just hear her screaming. I'm like, no, not Louis. And I gotta rewatch the scene to see if the acting was sketchy, cause that dude on Twitter, man, he need the beat sprayed up. He need to get beat up. Talking about some damn power, like I could see the original Power, but that Power book 2, don't get me started on the acting on that show. But anyway, so Louis gets shot. Everybody's standing around in shock. You know, you go to the hospital. Cuts to the reporter. She's saying she got to go off the grid now. Her husband's telling her, like, bitch, this what I've been told your stupid ass. For you got us in this situation. And she didn't want to listen. Just like a female, not listening. Not trying to do their own thing. And obviously she see what it is. You know what I mean? Like, you playing with dangerous people. So, so they all in the hospital, standing around. Not standing around, but they waiting on the results of Louis. Reed finally gets back. Him and Franklin meet up. And Franklin's like, yo, where the fuck you been at? And Reed like, yo, what the hell? Now, before this, Reed shows up to the office, and I don't know who this white dude is. I think he's just another officer or something. He's been looking for Reed for the last 2 or 3 episodes. He finally meets up. He finally sees him, and Reed's telling him about what's going on in the war, and he's like, yo, we got bigger problems. But so bring this to when Reed meets up with Franklin. He's flipping out on Franklin, but he sees the blood, and he's like, yo, what happened? He's like, yo, Louis got shot. He's like, yo, I'm sorry, but, you know, and Franklin was kind of relieved that Reed was even standing by him still, because he just knew for sure Reed was going to cut him loose and just move on, you know what I mean? But it shows that Reed has some sort of loyalty to his guys, but Reed gives him a jewel, too. He was like, yo, don't trust nobody. After this, can you put a muzzle on your dad? He's like, all right, after this, don't trust nobody. Stop thinking you could trust everybody, man. You gotta know, you gotta think Franklin's still young, man. Franklin is learning as he goes. So he's still making mistakes. Even though he gets out of a lot of situations, he also puts himself in a lot of situations. You know what I mean? So it's just experience. It's just a learning curve for him. Every time he survives something, it makes him stronger. And, you know, he's learning as he go. He never been in this situation before. So, you know, that's what I say. But that sticks with Franklin, because he gets back to the hospital, and everybody's outside still. His mom had came up there, and she's done. You can tell she's done. She's just like, she's sick of all this. She tells him she's moving away. He's like, yo, where you moving? He's like, yo, I'm leaving the house. I'm getting the hell out of South Central, which is weird. Like, why are you still living in the hood anyway? You got all this money. There's no way I'm living in South Central and I got millions of dollars. I'm gonna be on the outskirts. I'm in Calabasas, Hidden Hills. I don't know if that shit was around back then, but fucking Brent, where OJ was from, the mayor of Brent. I'll be in Brentwood or something. Anywhere from there. I'm not being in no fucking South Central. They crazy as hell. But fast forwarding, they come back to the hospital. They found out Louise, she's stable, whatever. But the chick T, she's Franklin's girlfriend. You can tell she's just being too assertive. She's just snooping around. I could do this, volunteering. I could do this, and she just looks guilty in it. And then it's something she said that made Franklin think. I think when she called him Drew, maybe, and that made him think what Reed said. You can't trust nobody. And he was just like, yo, Pete, just pull a car around. He tells the chick to meet him at the house. Like, yo, I gotta go somewhere. And I'm like, yo, this is gangster. So we cut back to Jerome going to see Louie now. She's out of surgery. She goes back to see her. And dude, he just started breaking down, crying. You just felt for him, man. And I like Jerome, dude. I just believe, I don't think none of the core characters should be hurt. Like, they the OGs. You gotta protect them, man. And the way he just kneeling over on Louie. Like I said, that's his baby, man. That's all he got, man. Besides Sissy, that's all he really got. So he comes out. He's like, yo, let's go get these motherfuckers. Leon trying to stall him out because Franklin told him to chill. Then we cut to Chick T. She's calling Man Boy. He's locked and loaded. Man Boy already knew what time it was, man. That's one thing you gotta respect about Man Boy. That boy uses his head. He's a smart dude, man. He's a businessman. So he already locked and loaded. Like, yo, call Twin. Let's get the guns. Bring some slugs. We locked and loaded. But then you cut to Reed. He's at Irene's house, and dude, this is so gangster. This is what I wanted to see. I knew this scene was coming. I knew something like this was coming. This is what I wanted to see. He goes to her house. She wakes up. He got his hand over her mouth, and he's about to inject her with something, but he gives her a warning. He gives her one more chance. And this is what I don't like about the show. They give too many people too many chances, but I understand it because if something happens to her, it's obviously going to look like they did it. And she just published it. So if it comes out that she mysteriously died, CIA did it. But so he gives her a warning like, yo, listen, with this one, you just going to go to sleep. Next time, you're not going to wake back up. I'm like, come on, that's gangster. It's too much gang. Reed is gangster. I'm telling you, man. It's Khadijah, then it's Reed. This is two different levels. But, so with that being said, so T calls Drew. Let's cut back to T. She's calling Drew in the apartment. She's giving the whole spiel about that Franklin's people going to be seeing him. He says he's ready. And then she's like, yo, you promise you're going to take care of my brother and I need the money. So next thing you know, you hear Franklin gimp ass walking on slow. And I knew it. I was like, oh, you just see the fucking look on her face. And she gets up and he's like, yo, how long you been playing me? And I'm like, oh, it's over for her. He about to make an example out of her. He either gonna kill her or he gonna have her be like a double agent where she working for him and Man Boy. You know what I mean? Have him cross Man Boy or have her cross Man Boy or something. It's gonna be something going on. But all in all, man, I like this episode. This was a good ass episode. It was no dull moments. It had me on my toes. I'm looking forward to the next episode. This did everything a episode was supposed to be, man. I'm so sad my auntie Louie got shot, man. I hope she pulls through. We'll see what happens though. But let me know what you guys think. Post your comments below. If it's anything I missed, post it below. Let's talk about it. Yeah, Snowfall. I love this show. Till next time, peace, love, and prosperity. I am the Black Abstract. One.